The hidden spiritual meaning of the all-seeing eye. Introduction. It's on the back of the US dollar bill. It's referenced in secret societies, found in temples, cathedrals, and carved into stone thousands of years ago. But the all-seeing eye is far more than a conspiracy. It's one of the most powerful spiritual symbols in human history, used by ancient priests, mystics, and sages to represent a single profound truth. There is a part of you that never sleeps, never stops watching, the part of you that sees not just the world, but yourself. In this video, we'll explore the hidden spiritual meaning of the all-seeing eye, not just through one lens, but across 5 ancient traditions: ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, Christianity, Hinduism, and Buddhism. Let's begin where the symbol first came to life, in the sands of ancient Egypt. Part 1, Ancient Egypt, the Eye of Horus and the Path of Wholeness. The oldest known version of the all-seeing eye comes from ancient Egypt, where it was known as the Eye of Horus or sometimes the Eye of Ra. This wasn't just a spiritual symbol, it was a cosmic force. The myth of Horus and Set. The story begins with Horus, the falcon-headed sky god, and his battle against Set, the god of chaos. In this epic myth, Set murders Horus's father, Osiris. Horus seeks revenge, and during the battle, Set tears out Horus's eye. But the god Thoth, master of magic and wisdom, restores the eye, not just physically, but spiritually. The restored Eye of Horus becomes a symbol of restoration, wholeness, and divine protection. Ancient Egyptian text. The pyramid text circa 2400 BCE. I am the Eye of Horus, which went forth fiery after its wrath. It's powerful, not just because it was restored, but because it was reborn. Like the moon that waxes and wanes, the eye represented cycles, awareness, and the return to wholeness. Mathematically, the Eye of Horus also encoded sacred geometry. Each part of the eye represented a fraction, a half, a quarter, an eighth, down to a 64th. Add them together, they form 63 out of 64. A reminder, no matter how precise our vision, some mysteries remain hidden. The Eye of Horus wasn't just protection, it was awareness. To evoke it was to open oneself to the divine watchfulness of the cosmos. While Egypt gave us the myth, Greece gave us the mind. Let's journey now to ancient Greece, where the eye becomes something far more internal. Part 2, Ancient Greece, the eye of the mind and the inner logos. In ancient Greece, the symbol of the all-seeing eye shifts from the mythological to the philosophical. Instead of gods and battles, the Greeks gave us a new idea, the eye of the mind. One of the most important thinkers here is Plato. Plato was an ancient Greek philosopher of the classical period, considered a foundational thinker in Western philosophy and an innovator of the written dialogue. Plato and the inner eye. Plato believed that the material world was only a shadow of a deeper invisible reality. The true world, what he called the real of forms, could only be perceived with the eye of the soul. Plato, Republic, Book 7. The soul, through education, must be turned around from the world of becoming to the world of being. In other words, our ordinary vision only appearances. But when we awaken the inner eye through truth, reason, and spiritual discipline, we can perceive eternal truth. The philosopher's job, said Plato, was to turn the eye inward. The inner eye is the Greek precursor to the idea of the third eye. The Republic is one of Plato's most famous and important works. Written around 380 BCE, it is a philosophical dialogue that explores justice, the ideal society, the nature of the soul, and the role of the philosopher in society. In his famous Allegory of the Cave, Plato asks you to imagine the following. The cave, which represents ignorance. Imagine people chained inside a dark cave from birth. They can only see the wall in front of them where shadows are projected. The shadows are coming from behind them, illuminated by a fire. To the prisoners, these shadows are reality. They don't know anything else. The escape represents awakening. One prisoner is freed. At first, he's blindfolded and confused, but slowly adjusts to the light. He climbs out of the cave and discovers the real world, sunlight, nature, and the true forms of things, not just shadows. He realizes the sun is the source of all light and truth. Then he returns to the cave, which represents resistance to truth. The freed man returns to help the others, but they mock or resist him. They're comfortable with their familiar shadows. They even threaten to kill anyone who tries to pull them out. The core message of the allegory of the cave is that most people live in an illusion, accepting what they see and hear as truth. True knowledge requires effort, introspection, and turning away from appearances. Enlightenment is difficult, but once attained, it transforms how one sees the world. So in Greece, the all seeing eye wasn't a literal symbol, it was a metaphor for the intellect awakened by truth. It means gnosis, knowledge of the divine through inner perception. Now we enter the world of Christianity, where the all seeing eye takes on a sacred meaning. It becomes known as the Eye of Providence, an eye enclosed with a triangle shining with rays of light. This symbol is usually understood as the eye of God, the one who sees all, knows all, and guides all of creation with perfect wisdom. The triangle represents the Holy Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. The rays of light that surround the eye symbolize divine illumination, God's presence shining into the world. God's omniscience and moral awareness. The Bible puts it clearly. In Hebrews 4:13 it says, "Nothing in all creation is hidden from God's sight. Everything is uncovered and laid bare before the eyes of him to whom we must give account." This means that God sees not only our actions, but also our hearts and intentions. But here's the key. The Christian eye isn't watching just to judge, it's watching to guide. From the medieval Christian tradition, mystics like Meister Eckhart spoke of a kind of inner vision, an eye of the soul that helps us see God within ourselves. He wrote, "The eye with which I see God is the same eye with which God sees me." This is a powerful idea. It means the all seeing eye isn't just God watching us, it's also us seeing through God's eyes when we look with love, truth, and spiritual awareness. The eye being a symbol in art and architecture. Throughout history, the Eye of Providence appeared in Christian art and architecture, from Renaissance paintings to the ceilings of churches and even on altars and domes. The Renaissance period is generally considered to have occurred between the 14th and 17th century. It served as a reminder that God is always present, watching, guiding, and protecting his people. Though the symbol was later used by secret societies, its Christian roots go back centuries. The Eye of Providence is a symbol of divine protection, wisdom, and moral accountability. From temples and cathedrals to the soul's inner gaze, the eye has traveled across continents. But in the East, it transforms once again into something even more mystical. Let's look now to the teachings of Hinduism and Buddhism, where the all seeing eye becomes the gateway to liberation. Hinduism, the third eye of Shiva, and the eye of consciousness. In Hinduism, the all seeing eye becomes something even more powerful, the third eye, or Ajna chakra. It's a real energy center believed to lie between the eyebrows, associated with intuition, perception, and higher knowledge. The third eye of Shiva. At the heart of this symbolism is Shiva, god of transformation and destruction. He is often depicted with a closed third eye, representing spiritual insight. But when Shiva opens his eye, Maya, the illusion of the world, is burned away. Shiva Purana. When the third eye opens, it sees beyond time. The past, present, and future dissolve into one truth. This is the all seeing eye at its highest form. Not just seeing the outer world, but penetrating illusion, cutting through ego, and perceiving pure consciousness. The Upanishads and Inner Vision. Chandogya Upanishad. There is light that shines beyond all things on earth, beyond the highest heavens. This is the light that shines in your heart. The Upanishads are a collection of ancient Indian spiritual and philosophical texts within the Vedic tradition, forming the philosophical backbone of Hinduism. They contain profound truths and wisdom of Brahman, the ultimate reality, the self, Atman, and the path to realization. This ancient scripture reminds us the all seeing eye doesn't look outward, it looks inward toward the divine light within. In this tradition, the eye is a doorway, a portal to moksha, liberation from the cycle of death and rebirth. Buddhism, the eye of enlightenment and the Buddha's vision. In Buddhism, the eye also plays a crucial role, but its meaning is more subtle, more profound. Here, the eye symbolizes awareness, moment to moment mindfulness, free from attachment. The Buddha is often referred to as having the divine eye, which allowed him to see beyond appearances, to perceive the true nature of reality. Dhammapada, verse 174. Blind is this world, few are those who see. This blindness refers to ignorance or avidya, our habitual way of seeing the world through ego, desire, and fear. The all-seeing eye in Buddhism is the eye of awakened awareness. It sees impermanence, emptiness, and interconnectedness. The third eye in Buddhist practice. In some Buddhist traditions, especially Tibetan Buddhism, the third eye is cultivated through meditation, visualization, and mantra to open direct perception of emptiness and wisdom, prajna. This isn't just symbolic, it's practical. Buddhist meditation trains the mind to be so still, so clear that you begin to see the mind itself, not just thoughts, but awareness as awareness. In this seeing, the illusion of a fixed self dissolves. What remains is bodhi, awakened seeing, a vision so profound that it ends suffering. The all-seeing eye, conspiracy theories, and the New World Order. While the all-seeing eye has ancient spiritual roots, in the modern world it has taken on a far more controversial meaning, as a symbol of control, manipulation, and the so-called New World Order. This view traces back to the Eye of Providence, the eye in a triangle famously featured above a pyramid on the back of the US $1 bill, introduced in 1935. While this image was originally meant to symbolize divine oversight and national destiny, it has since become a lightning rod for conspiracy theories. The Illuminati and the Eye. Many point to the Illuminati, a real 18th century secret society that promoted Enlightenment ideals like reason, rationalism, secularism, and freedom of thought. Though it was disbanded within a few decades, conspiracy theories allege that its members simply went underground and continued manipulating world events from behind the scenes. In this narrative, the all-seeing eye represents a surveillance state, a hidden hand, or a Luciferian elite watching everything we do, controlling politics, media, finance, and even spirituality. Whether it's on corporate logos, music videos, or global summit backdrops, some believe these symbols are intentional signals, an esoteric code used by insiders to flaunt their power. The New World Order. This phrase became famous after US President George W. Bush used it in 1990. For many, it sparked conversations about a possible New World Order, a vision of global coordination that some see as progress, while others interpret as hidden agendas shaping humanity's path. And the truth is, there are powerful systems at play. Throughout history, governments, corporations, and influential groups have used symbols, including the all-seeing eye, to represent authority, surveillance, and control. Whether we see this as conscious orchestration or simply the natural concentration of power, it's clear that forces beyond the public eye often influence collective events. But here's where it gets deeper. Symbols are mirrors. They reveal where we stand in our own awareness. When we look at the all-seeing eye through fear, we see manipulation and control. But when we look with clarity and wisdom, we see an invitation to awaken, to break through illusion, recognize these structures for what they are, and reclaim our personal and collective power. It's about choosing awareness over unconsciousness and refusing to remain asleep, in a world where narratives are often shaped for us. Some final thoughts or reflections. Across centuries, cultures, and belief systems, the all seeing eye has carried many meanings. To some, it represents divine wisdom and spiritual awakening. To others, it symbolizes authority, surveillance, and control. Perhaps both can be true. Symbols are alive because we give them meaning. They evolve alongside humanity, reflecting our deepest fears and highest aspirations. When viewed through fear, the eye can appear as a reminder of hidden powers shaping the world around us. From a higher perspective, it also invites us to look deeper, beyond narratives, beyond division, beyond illusion, and to remember our own personal and collective power. The eye is not here to tell us what to believe. It asks us to stay awake, to question, to seek, to discern, and above all, to choose awareness over unconsciousness. Because the more we awaken within, the less power any external force has over us. When the eye of the heart opens, we begin to see the truth that was always there. That's inspired by Rumi. So, what do we do with this knowledge? We begin to practice inner vision. We do this through meditation, through honest self inquiry, through living with integrity, clarity, and presence. The eye watch is not to judge, but to awaken. It reminds us that we are not separate from truth, we are truth when we remember to see clearly. And that clarity doesn't come from looking harder, it comes from stillness, from silence, and from sincere presence. If you've made it this far, then maybe the eye is already open within you. And now it's not just a symbol, it's a mirror, a call, a reminder that deep within your being is a presence that sees all, without judgment, without fear, and without separation. If this video helped open something in you, like, subscribe, and share it with somebody ready to go deeper. Drop a comment below and let me know, what does the all seeing eye mean to you? This is Vibrations Aligned, and I'll see you on the next journey inward.